Hi students, next topic is about bus. So you already discussed in your previous classes also what is bus. Now we discuss about we have two types of bus, that is synchronous bus and asynchronous bus. Coming to synchronous bus, so all devices derive timing information from a common clock line. Okay, that means this synchronous bus, we already discussed the synchronous and asynchronous. Means synchronous run with the clock pulse, okay, and asynchronous means it does not run with clock. Okay, so coming to synchronous bus, all devices derive timing information from a common clock line. Okay, and coming to equally spaced pulses on the line define equal time intervals. Means here we give a equal preference for timing intervals. Okay, that equally spaced pulses on the line, which means that it gives equal time intervals. Okay, next one is, during a bus cycle one data transfer can take place. That means for every one cycle there only one data transfer takes place. Okay, a sequence of events during a read operation. Coming to read operation, so at the time t0 means ikkada, sorry, here we follow the master slave concept. Okay, master slave concept is nothing but a server, client and server. Okay, okay, so at time team t0 the that is here master is a processor. Okay, so the places the device address on the address line. So you already learned this thing so many times. First of all, processor place a address on address line. Okay, for getting required information. Okay, it sends an appropriate command on control lines. Okay, so what is the work for a processor means it places a device address on the device line, and whatever the command that is placed on control line. Okay, the command will indicates an input operation and specify the length of the operand to be read. Okay, so whatever the command we specify on the control line, that will indicate the input operation. So what is the input operation, and specifies the length of operand to be read, and also it specifies what is the length, of the operand to whatever the we read that information, it specifies the length of the operand. Next one is, information travels over bus at a speed determined by physical and electrical characteristics. Okay, here information travels over bus at speed. Okay, that means it determined by physical and electrical characteristics. Next, clock pulse with T1 to T0 must be longer than maximum propagation delay between devices connected to bus. Okay, the clock pulse width should be long to allow the devices to decode the means here clock if you here we need to take clock width, clock pulse width should be long. Why? Because means in order to decode the address and control lines, so that's why we need to take a control pulse width should be a long. Okay, the slave take no action or replace any data on the bus before t1. Okay, so before t1 means clock, without clock pulse start the slave cannot do any action. Okay, so information on a bus is unreliable during the period T0 to T1. So because signals are changing states, means it is not a standard one. Okay, that means here call it as unreliable. Okay, means y means there is some changes, states from t1 to 0, t2 to 0. Okay, there may be a chance, ch- uh, changing, okay, changing one state to another state. That's why that information on a bus is unreliable. Okay, it is not a standard. Next, coming to slave places requested input data on data lines at the time t1. Okay, at the end of the clock cycle, that means what is the end of the clock cycle means at time t2. Okay, master strobes, that means master captures the data on the data line into its input buffer. Okay, so at the time of t2, the master get the information, whatever that means processor sends a request to address line. So this type of information are required. Okay, uh, at the time of t2, the master gets the whatever the information it required. Okay, for data to be loaded correctly in a storage device. Okay, data must be available at input of that device for a period of greater than step up time of device. So the picture shows two views of the signal except the clock. Okay, so this is the diagram for multiple cycle transfer for read operation. So one view shows the signal seen by the master and another is seen by the slave. Here master slave concept. Okay, uh, we have two views. Okay, one view seen by master slave, sorry, master, and another view seen by slave. Okay, so master sends the address and command signals on the rising edge at the beginning of the clock period t0. These signals do not actually appear on the bus until TAM. Okay, so just now I told. Okay, the signals appear on after TAM. Okay, until that it does not appear. Okay, sometimes later at TAS the signals reach the slave. Okay, in some situations later TAS the signal reach the slave. Okay, the slave decodes the address. Okay, at t1 the slave sends the requested data. At t2 the master loads the data input into its input buffer. Means in t0 situation, at the time of t0 it sends. Okay, master sends a request, so whatever the data it requires. Okay, at t1 the slave, okay, at the time of t0 only slaves accepts the request from master. Okay, at the time of t1 the slave sends the requested data. After at t2 time the master loads the data into its input buffer. Okay, hence the period t2, t2 comma tdm is the step time for master's input buffer. Okay, the data must be continued to be valid after t2 for a period equal to hold time of that buffers. Okay, disadvantage of this one is device does not respond. Okay, and if any error will occurs, there is no detection. Okay, so this is the disadvantage. Okay, so this is the clock diagram. During clock cycle c1 the master sends address or a command information the bus requesting a read operation. The slave receives and decodes the address command information. So just now whatever we discussed, that is represented with the help of timing diagram only. Okay, so in representing timing diagram, it gives a better representation. Okay, at the edge of the clock, that is beginning of the clock cycle 2, it makes a session to respond immediately and the data becomes ready or placed in the bus at clock cycle 3. Okay, see why is here clock cycle 1? Clock cycle means at every clock cycle one data transfer can takes place. That way Here we need to take more than one clock cycle. Okay. So master stops the data into the input buffer at the end of the clock cycle 3. The bus transfer operation is now complete. Okay. Why we take here bus means in order to transfer the data from one place to another place. Okay. At the end of the and the master sends a new address to start a new transfer in clock cycle 4. Okay, up to clock cycle 3, one transfer finished. After, if you want to perform another, that means new transfer, again the master sends a new address to a start a new transfer in clock cycle 4. The slave ready signal is an acknowledgement for the slave to the master. Okay, so here also acknowledgement. So, because of this acknowledgement, we understand the what is the status of other side, because we don't see what is the status of other side. With the help of acknowledgement, we can understand what is the status of other side. Okay. Next, coming to asynchronous bus. Okay, so we already discussed this asynchronous. This means it does not perform with the clock cycle. Okay, so this method used a handshake signal between master and slave for coordinating data transfers. How means we discussed here. That is, there are two control lines, that is master ready and slave ready. Okay, so with the help of master ready is used to indicate the master is ready for transaction. Okay, next coming to slave ready, it is used to indicate that slave is ready for transaction. Okay, so because of these indications we can understand what is the status of master and what is the status of slave. Okay, with the help of this with the help of this information, we want to transfer a data from sender to receiver. Okay, or master slave. The read operation proceeds as follows. At T0, master places address command information on bus. At T1, master sends MR signal to 1 to inform all devices that address or command information is ready. That means MR signal is equal to 1 causes all devices on the bus to decode the address. Sorry. So, in order to perform read operation, at T0, master places a address or a command information on bus. At T1, master sets MR signal to 1 to inform all devices that address or a command information is ready. That means MR signal is equal to 1 causes all devices on the bus to decode the address. Next, coming to delay, the delay T1 to T0 is intended to allow for a skew that may occur on the bus. Means if any delay occurs, it supports, means T1 to T0. Okay. Skew occurs when two signals transmitted from one source arrive at distance. It means some delay, means if you send a request to the slave, we have to wait until acknowledgement get from another side. Okay, therefore the delay t1 to t0 should be a larger than maximum possible bus skew. At t2, slave performs a required input operation and sets SR signal to 1 to inform all devices that is ready. Okay, next coming to at t4, master removes address command information from the bus. Okay, next at t5, when the device interface receives the 1 to 0 transition of MR signal, it removes data and SR signal from the bus. This completes the input transfer. So here, with the help of this T1 and T20, we can understand what is the status when we transfer the data. Okay, So this is the asynchronous bus.